Jai Mahamaya ki, Jai Bole Baba ki, Jai. In our last discourse, we heard about Indra running away and hiding in disguise at the Manas Lake in the last chapter. We'll go ahead from chapter 8 now. Vedavyasa said, O king, hearing that the wife of Indra had taken refuge under Brihaspati, the king Nahusa became very angry towards Brihaspati and spoke to the Devas. O Devas, I hear that stupid son of Angirasa, Brihaspati, has given protection to the wife of Indra and has kept her in his house. I will therefore kill him quickly. Seeing the terrible Nahusa thus angry, the Devas and Rishis consoled him and said, O King of Kings, do not be angry. Quit this vicious motive of yours. See, the Rishis in all the Dharmasastras have declared the holding of illicit connection with other people's wives is a very heinous crime and have blamed it very much. You consider that the daughter of Paloma is always chaste, devoted to her husband, and very good-natured. How can she, when her husband is alive, take another husband? O Lord, you are now the Lord of the three worlds, and hence the defender of the path and the faith and of religion. And if a person like you acts irreligiously, all the subjects will then go to annihilation. One who is a lord should always observe the rules of good conduct. Besides, there are many other celestial women in the heavens as beautiful as Saci. You certainly can satisfy yourself with them. Mutual love is recognized by the wise as the true originator of amorous dealings. Ravishing a woman by force destroys all amorous sentiments, O king. And if the mutual love be similar and equal in all respects, then comes the true happiness. You have now got the post of Indra. Therefore, quit the idea of holding illicit connections with others' wives and indulge in other good thoughts. Demerits destroy prosperity, and merits increase it. Therefore, O king, leave all these bad thoughts and make your heart take a good turn and be happy. Nahusa said, O Devas, where were you all when Indra stole away the wife of Gautama and when the moon stole away the wife of Brihaspati? It is easy to give advice to others, but to act according to that is very rare in this world. O Devas, let the qualified Devi come to me. You will derive much benefit from it, and the Devi too will get her highest happiness. There is no doubt in this. I tell you truly that in no other way I will be satisfied. Bring the wife of Indra, Saci, here quickly, whether by good words or by force. The Devas and the Munis heard the words of King Nahusa, smitten by Cupid's arrows, and got terrified and said, We will bring Indrani to you by gentle words. Saying thus, they went to the house of Brihaspati. The Devas, going to the house of Brihaspati, spoke thus with folded hands, O Guru, we know that Indrani has taken shelter in your house. We will have to hand her over today to the king Nahusa, for we all united have made over the post of Indra to Nahusa. Let this beautiful lady now choose and worship him. Hearing these awful words of the Devas, Brihaspati said to them, O Devas, this chaste woman devoted to her husband has now taken my shelter, therefore I can never part with her. The Deva said, O Guru, kindly advise then, if you do not part with Saci Devi, how the king Nahusa will be pleased. If he becomes angry, it will then be very difficult to please him. Brihaspati said, O Devas, let Saci now go to Nahusa and tempt him with enticing words and make this condition, that when her husband's death will be known to her, she will then accept Nahusa as her husband. How could she accept another husband when her husband was alive? Therefore, let her now go in quest of her high-souled husband. Let Saci thus make conditions with him, and thus deceiving him, let her try her best to bring her back her husband. Then, after coming to this conclusion, Brihaspati and the other Devas went to Indrani with Indrani to the king Nahusa. Seeing them come, especially looking at Indrani, the beautiful wife of Indra, the king Nahusa became very glad and said to Indrani, "Oh, beloved, today I have become the real Indra. O beautiful-eyed one, worship me as your husband. See, the Devas now have made me to be worshipped by all the gods." When Nahusa spoke thus, the Devi Saci became filled with great shame. She began to tremble and said to the king, "O Lord of the Devas, I desire to ask a boon from you. Better wait till I ascertain whether Indra is dead or alive. There is this doubt in my heart, where he lives or whether he is dead." O King of Kings, let me first of all clear my doubts. Kindly excuse me and wait till then. I tell you this truly, that after I ascertain the fact, I will worship you. I do not know anything whether Indra is dead or whether he has gone anywhere else. When Saci Devi spoke thus, Nahusa became very glad and saying, "Let it be so," and dismissed her. Thus, having received permission from the king to depart, Saci hurriedly went to the Devas and spoke to them to try their best to bring Indra back as soon as possible. O king, hearing these sweet and holy words of Indrani, the Devas intently consulted with each other how they could bring back Indra. They then went to the Vaikuntha and began to praise with hymns the great god Vishnu, the Lord of the universe, kind to those who seek his refuge. The Devas, skilled in speaking, spoke to Vishnu with great troubled heart. "O Lord Indra, the Lord of the Devas is very much troubled with his sin of Brahmahatya. Where is he staying now, invisible to all of us? O Lord, he is now overcome with the sin of killing Vritra, the Brahma, the best of the Brahmins. We ask your skillful and intelligent advice, O Lord. You are the sole refuge of him as well as of us. We are now involved in great difficulty. Kindly show us now where he is and how he is doing, and how we can get out of this difficult crisis." Hearing the pitiful words of the Devas, Vishnu said, "Let Indra perform a great sacrifice for the purification of his sins. By this yagya that can destroy all sins, Indra will be purified and he will regain his Indraship. There is no doubt in this. The more so because the Devi, the universal mother, will be pleased with his sacrifice and will destroy all his sins, Brahmahatya and other sins. Lo, merely remembering the Divine Mother destroys heaps of sins, and if by this great sacrifice she be pleased, what wonder is there that the sins of a more grave nature would be destroyed as well? And let Indrani worship Bhagavati daily also. Happiness will undoubtedly be gained by worshiping the most auspicious Divine Mother. By this the king Nahusa will be particularly deluded by the world mother and will then be quickly destroyed by the sin committed by himself. And Indra, purified by this great sacrifice, will soon regain his position and all of his wealth." Thus, hearing the sweet beneficial words of Vishnu of indomitable powers, the Devas went to the spot where resided Indra. Brihaspati and the other Devas consoled the distressed Indra and made him celebrate duly in right order this great sacrifice, the greatest of all. Indra then dispensed his sins amongst the trees, rivers, mountains, and the earth. Thus, casting aside his sin on all the above things, Indra became free again from his sin, and getting rid of his fever and uneasiness, abided the time and remained there invisible in the tubular stem of the lotus. Doing that wonderful act, the Devas started from there and reached their own abodes. The daughter of Paloma, Saci, suffering from her bereavements from Indra, spoke then to Brihaspati with great sorrow. "O Lord, why is my husband still invisible to me when he has performed this great sacrifice? Kindly show me the way how I can get sight of him." Brihaspati said, "O Devi, worship the most auspicious Divine Mother Bhagavati. Surely she will make your husband sinless, and you will see him. The Devi Ambika, the upholder of the universe, will desist the king Nahusa from doing the wrong acts, and it is she that will delude him by her Mahamaya and get his downfall from the heavens. O king, when Brihaspati spoke thus, Saci Devi got initiated by him in the Devi mantram, capable to secure success in any undertaking. Thus, getting the mantra from her guru, she began to worship the Devi Bhuvaneshwari duly with flowers, sacrifice, and other necessary articles for worship. Thus, Indrani, with a view to see her husband perform the worship of the Devi, she quitted all the articles of enjoyments and luxury and assumed the garb of an ascetic. Thus, some time passed away when the Devi was pleased and appeared before her on the back of a swan in her perfect form, ready to grant boons to Indrani. She looked then fierily like thousands of moons. Her lovely beauty appeared in rays like thousands and thousands of fixed lightnings. The four Vedas personified began to praise her in hymns from the four sides. Her two hands were adorned with a noose and a goad, and her two other hands made signs to grant boons and to discard all fear. The special garland of clear crystal-like gems suspended from her neck all the way to her feet. Her face was adorned with smiles and signs as if she would grant favors. She had 3 eyes and was the ocean of mercy and the mother of all the jivas, from a worm up to Brahma. Her 2 heavy breasts were filled with unbounded ocean of nectar-like juice of peace and mukti. She was the goddess of innumerable worlds, the goddess of all, and the highest, endowed with all the knowledge and the incarnate of the undecaying and immovable Brahma. The Devi then began to address Saci, the wife of Indra, in pleasant words and in voice deep like a rolling thunder. The Devi said, "O darling, to Indra, better now ask your desired boons. I am much pleased with your worship. O beautiful one, I have come here to grant you boons. To see me is not an easy task. By the collected merits acquired in thousands and thousands of births, one is able to see me only." Hearing the words of the Devi, Saci Devi, the wife of Indra, fell prostrate before her feet and began to speak of the highest goddess, the Bhagavati, who seemed graciously pleased. "O mother, I now desire from thee that I may see my husband, whom I attained after great difficulty, that I be freed from the fear arising out of King Nahusa, and I want that Indra be reinstated as Indra as was before." The Devi said, "O lady of the Devas, better go with this my messenger to Mansavar. There is installed my fixed form, named Vishvakama. You will see your Indra staying there, very sorrowful and overwhelmed with terror. I will delude the king Nahusa within a very short period. O large-eyed one, be calm and quiet. I will fulfill your desires. Soon I will delude that king and deprive him of a seat of Indra." The wife of Indra, Saci, accompanied with the messenger of the Devi, quickly reached the presence of her husband Indra. She was very pleased to see her long-wished-for husband in the state of disguise. Here ends the 8th chapter of the 6th book on the praising the Bhagavati by the wife of Indra and on getting the sight of Indra in the Mahapranam, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.